to today's Just Chopsing Podcast. And today with David and myself, we have John Alford. And John Alford is the vocalist and rhythm guitar player for Gallaher's Green. How are you doing, John?
Not too bad, guys. Thanks for having us on.
That's cool. I know a little bit about the backstory of your band. I'm not 100% up on it, but I take it you're a four-piece rock, melodic rock outfit from Manchester.
Yeah, we're from all over the place. Obviously, I'm from Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Our lead guitar player's from West Yorkshire.
Oh, okay.
Our new drummer is from St Helens, and our bass player's from Oldham. So,
All right. You're all over the place then.
I think we just threw a dart and a map, and it hit Manchester. So that tends to be where we meet up. But I've no idea what type of rock we are. We've had so much feedback from so many people saying, "Oh, you sound like Stereophonics," or "You sound like Foo Fighters." This band or that band, and we're just like, yeah, brilliant. All bands that we love. And we've all got so many different influences, really an eclectic mix. So I think that's bound to come out in different songs, how different all our sort of influences are.
Okay. Well, that must have been me then, was it? Because I was alive and everybody else was frozen.
But I was okay, and John was all right.
Oh, right. It must have been me then, because, yeah, okay. I can still hear you, but you were both... And David looks like he's frozen most of the time anyway, so... I don't know what's going on, Dave.
All right. No, yeah.
I was listening to some of your stuff, and I got a little bit. From Ballad of the One-Eyed Bastard, I got a little bit of an Undertones vibe from it.
Right.
And Bad for My Soul was a little bit Quo-ish, if you like.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you get your influences from, but.
Well, our lead guitar player, he's pretty much meat and potatoes, rock and roll, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, that type of thing. And I think that comes through in his playing. Our bass player, very much into the whole Manchester scene, Stone Roses, Oasis, but also a massive Beatles fan and early Elvis. Okay. Our new drummer loves, Mike Oldfield to Queen. And I love Americana, folk, rock, everything. So it's all just like a big melting pot of different influences,
Yeah, I've actually written down touches of country and Americana in my notes. So.
Yeah, some of the feedback we had on the first album, and for those that have heard the demos on the new album, one of our big sort of gripes with bands was, yeah, everything sounds the same. But on our albums, everyone's saying, "Oh, there's a touch of this, there's a touch of that." It's all very different. They're both very different albums,
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I've had a good listen to it as well. I really like it. Oh, it's to me, a lot of it was kind of like Oasis to me, because I was a big fan of Oasis as well, and I could hear quite a bit of that in there as well, to be honest, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a couple of songs, and it's definitely we're going for that whole pentatonic thing. We're not ashamed to do that, and we've even started writing a third album, because we're just full steam ahead with this band. Since lockdown ended, as in the restrictions on live music, we've just been playing as many gigs as we can to promote the first album, and we've also got gigs booked up. We're playing the Pier Hat in Manchester on Saturday. We're just full steam ahead, and when it comes to writing, myself and Ian, the bass player, we're the sort of primary songwriters, and the lead guitar player Tom, he just sprinkled the lead guitarist fairy dust over it and mixed it into something really special. And obviously we've got our brand new drummer now, so we're just looking forward to cracking on and getting all that stuff out there.
Okay,
yeah, because you're really busy, because your first album came out last year. And then you've got another album. You've released a single from your second album already.
Yeah.
And there's another single coming out at the end of this month as well. Is your second album coming out this year? Is that the plan, or are you looking at it for next year maybe?
So we're going to release 6 singles. We're working with a PR company called Music Remedy. It's 3 girls. One's a Welsh girl, One's a Scottish girl and one's a girl from Birkenhead. So
Yeah,
It's a bit like your band, really, yeah, don't they? It suits your band well.
everyone's represented. So and they're brilliant. They're awesome, and they're going for that whole music remedy thing where one of the girls is very much into mental health. So they're trying to promote music in a positive way for young bands who don't have a lot of money, but also trying to spin it in a way that it helps people, because the whole thing with our songwriting is it's very much a cathartic thing where it's getting all that out, you know what I mean, instead of doing it in other ways. They're really pushing us to get out there and gig, promoting us with different podcasts and radio stations. And they're awesome. They came to a gig last week, a couple of weeks ago we did in Liverpool, and one of the girls, Erin, was going absolutely nuts at the front. It was a great gig because Liverpool crowds are always manic. So everything's really positive.
Yeah, we know. Well, we know Erin. We've had dealings with Erin before. Hello, Tom, down the bottom there.
Hello.
Tom,
Okay.
yay! There he is.
Yeah.
John can't see you. Are you on your phone, are you, John?
Yeah, I can see him now. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. We know Erin from a few of the other bands she's pushed our way. So, but
This is awesome.
so which two of you guys were in the army then?
John,
So that
was
Forces,
John.
whatever. Because I've got a bit of your backstory that you were in the forces.
Yeah, so myself and the bass player Ian, we met in Iraq back in 2008, and we got talking. It was actually after a foot patrol. We've been out in 50-degree heat, come back in, we're absolutely hanging, and we just sort of lying there trying to cool off and talking about bands we used to listen to and all the rest of it, and quickly established that we were both into rock music and had played in bands and stuff like that. So we kept in touch for years. He obviously wrote songs for his band. I was writing stuff for the acoustic duo that I was in. And I think it was about 2017, we were in Dublin watching Guns N' Roses. And we suddenly realised that, flip me, this is the first time we've not been in bands. And we had all these songs. So should we start a band? So we put the nucleus of the... And then when we got together with Tom, basically the rest of the album, and we really decided on we naturally sort of evolved into our sound. So the first album, Lucky 13, sort of half of it is stuff we'd written before, and the other half is as Gallaher's Green. And the new album that'll be out sort of spring next year, well, it's very much a step on from that, a step up. We know what we are, we've established our sound, and we've been out playing those gigs, and we know what songs worked and what didn't. So it was a real trial by fire for some of those songs. So by the time we got into the studio, they were naturally evolved and ready, you know.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Yeah, because I listened to your album, Lucky 13, and it's very raw, if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a real live, punky feel to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you record it straight off the floor, or...?
Yeah, it was.
We were-
It was live. It was like 3 takes, weren't it? It were 3 takes of each song, and then mix the best part of each take, basically, together.
Yeah. And it was in Blueprint Studios, which is an established studios, Elbow and all sorts of top-notch sort of Manchester bands have used it. But we said to Gary, the producer, he's worked with Duran John and all sorts of great people, but we just said, look, we want those albums that we used to listen to, and the like Sticky Fingers and all that type of stuff. And that's very much what we got. And then with the second album, like I say, we went into a different studio with a different producer, and songs that had been out on the road and really worked on. So it's a totally different sound again.
Okay. Is it going to be more finished, or...?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more polished.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. More
Yeah, it is. It's a lot more polished. This one, it's a step up. To me anyway, it's a step up from the first album. The whole production's a lot more detailed. There were a lot more droppings, with guitar parts and stuff like that. A lot more backing vocal, a lot more focus on backing vocals, harmonies, stuff like that. It's just, it's, to me, the second album's just going to be a huge step up from the first album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drums as well.
I mean, the first album isn't bad. It's just, like I said, it's very raw, and it's very...
Yeah.
It's very 80s, if you like. Not the way that it's written, but the way that it's recorded.
Yeah.
Right.
It feels like it's got that 80s, and a bit of it, it's like it's got a bit of that 80s punk vibe to it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, but I'm a massive punk fan. My first bands back when I was 15, it was all that. You mentioned the Undertones.
Yeah.
Another interview we did the other week, and a guy from Liverpool said, "Oh, you remember a bit of the Buzzcocks?" And that's bound to come out. That type of stuff that I grew up kind of listening to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get. I totally get. But we did say we want a raw album. We basically wanted 4 guys in a room, bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
So we did that in the July, just after lockdown 1 was lifted. We were the first band. Yeah, straight in the studio. And we hardly knew each other. Then we talked.
Oh, 20. July 20, weren't it?
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
You didn't know each other, or only you and Ian?
Yeah, me and Ian, obviously, we'd been away writing stuff, and we met Tom at the start before lockdown happened, and luckily we'd had all those rehearsals, and we'd done a couple of open mic nights and stuff like that. And then it was just a case of wherever we could, we rehearsed without breaching the rules, obviously, and then sending ideas to each other. And then, but the next time we met, it was like, right, let's go in the studio and let's do this.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, yeah, I like it. Anyway, I just like the vibe of the album. Really, I'm obviously older as well, and it's a bit refreshing to hear something that's not fucking overproduced. You know.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. We didn't want that even on this album.
Yeah.
Said to the producer, I don't want auto-tune. People want to hear a singer being pushed to his max. They want to hear his voice crack. Like when I listen to those records I grew up on, that's what I heard. You can hear when certain singers will sing slightly flat. Some singers will be a bit higher, like Rod Stewart's a bit flat. But that's what you want to hear. And nobody wants to hear that stuff that we're force-fed.
Yeah, the auto-tune.
Yeah, the auto-tune's a killer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, destroys everything. It takes
the soul of the music, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it takes away the personality of the music, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
100%.
Everything's overproduced But yeah, so you've only been in an actual band since 2020 then, I guess? 2019 maybe?
As the current form.
Yeah.
Well, with me, John, Ian, we had a different drummer back then. But yeah, very late 2019, I think we very first met.
Yeah.
Obviously, like John said, him and Ian had been working together before that with other people. I answered an ad on some website I can't think the name of right now that Ian had put out for a lead guitarist. So I went meeting him, and then it's just grown from there basically. I listened to a couple of demos they sent me, and I thought, yeah, I like this. I can work with this. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the Foo Fighters, and I like the Foo Fighters. They do something for me, the Foo Fighters. So yeah, I went and met up, and then kind of like John said, they already had some songs going, and then we kind of started falling into a sound. We knew each other's strengths then, and so they started writing songs to more. Or I feel like they started writing songs more to the strength of the members of the band.
Yeah,
and it's just developed now, and we're getting I feel like we're getting stronger and stronger all the time, based on that fact.
Yeah.
And Ian and I are the primary songwriters, but we're always nervous when we send a demo to Tom, because he'll just go, I don't know if I can swear on this podcast.
Yeah, you could swear if you want. I'm going to start swearing in a minute.
Yeah, good.
When I get my rant on.
Yeah, good lad. Yeah, I like it. Tom will just get back to say, yeah, those ones are great. That one's shit. That one's dog shit. Or fuck off. We're not an indie band. We're not doing that. And we'll just go, right, okay, cool. Let's. And honestly, although it's painful and it's hard for someone to go, no dog pump, it really does. Sieve the wheat from the chaff, because this album has no fat on it, I promise you.
Okay, cool.
We struggled to go, right, what are we doing for singles? And even the producers going, well, they're all good, don't know what to do. And as I say, we're writing the third album in the background, so we've got the right people in this band. We're on our fourth drummer. We've had more drummers than what do you call that band? The comedy. What's it called, Tom?
Oh, Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. Yeah, we've had more drummers than Spinal Tap. Our drummers keep exploding and stuff. Yeah, but it's going so well. We got a new guy now, say Tom Leather. He's got the coolest heavy metal.
This is the man now. We've
Yeah,
got the one.
Cool. Erin watched him in Liverpool the other week, and she went, "Oh my God, it's Animal from the Muppets." He's got his cymbals up high. He's just smashing it. He's awesome. So yeah, we've had some guys in the past, brilliant drummers, just commitments, couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? You know, it's a lot of commitment being in a band, and people don't understand what it takes, I think.
Yeah, it's like having 3 more wives. It's hard work.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
Got to keep everyone happy, and obviously I'm the lead singer, so I'm a massive diva. So these guys are going to put up with my stuff. I've got to have my water at room temperature and all that type of stuff. But
you don't look like a diva, John.
No, I can't imagine that either.
I forgot to put my feather boa on. M&M's, yeah. I got the rest. Yeah, but yeah, it's great. We got some great guys, and I think as well, if you've got, people always talk about some bands do well, some bands fall by the wayside very quickly, but we've got 4 guys that are driven, a bit older. They know what this means. They've been in bands with guys and girls that have messed them around. We've got decent tunes. We all know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and it's a band that is the sum of its own parts. You know what I mean? None of us are virtuosos, but when we get together, we're creating something really, really good, and we're driven. Got that working class ethos as well. So
yeah. When's your new album coming out then?
It's either going to be what is it, Tom? February or?
Well, we're looking at like a 6-week space in between singles at the minute. We've released the first single, "Catch the Sun." Mm-hmm. We've got one coming out in 2 weeks. 2 weeks tomorrow, which is the way we used to be.
26th, yeah.
And then we're looking at probably keeping that same pattern 6 weeks again after that. Then we start getting a lot more rocky then, don't we?
Single number 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's a song called Memphis, and that's really that's a step up in the gain gets cranked on the guitars, the drums are a lot beefier, you know, everything starts to move from there on. You know, it's probably anybody who started listening to the first 2 singles, I think it might shock them, or surprise them anyway. You know, the change of direction, because it's going.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
It's going to be. Wow, I think they'll look at it and go, "Wow, that's not what I was expecting." But I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing, because I remember when the Cult brought out the album Electric.
Yeah.
You know, that was a total change of direction for them guys.
Yeah.
And everyone, I mean, I had a guy living with me, and he was like, I brought the album home, stuck it on the record player, and he was like, "Are you sure that's the Cult?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, it was fucking amazing."
Even when they brought out "I'll Reach for This One," Sonic Tempo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Again, that just blew people's mind. And when they worked with Rick Rubin went, "Yeah, forget about all that Gretsch and all that jingly jangly stuff. This is a Les Paul, India Marshall. Go and write some songs." And Sweet Soul Sister and all those great songs. But yeah, definitely, another great band, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Electric was just like mind blowing, really, at the time. It was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
You know, compared to their other stuff, was very. What was it? I don't know how you can call it, really.
They were kind of thrown into that goth kind of genre, but I don't think
they weren't really goth either, were they? They were.
No, they had a punky vibe to them. Billy Duffy's a punky guy, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, strange. So I see a lot of your songs come from mental health inspirations then?
Randomly, all sorts. Basically, that first album, as I say, there's stuff, like I always say to the guys, be careful when you hang around me and what you tell me, because it'll end up in a song. Like that next song that Tom was talking about, Memphis, is about a friend of mine who went to Afghanistan. He was a dog handler. He was RAF attached to the Royal Marines. Stepped on an IED, lost his leg. His dog was called Memphis. And basically, he came to my squadron. I asked him to come down and speak to the young kids, because there's now a generation of kids who haven't been away to Iraq and Afghanistan in the forces, and just talk to them and go, "Look, this is what it's like. This was what happened to me. This is what could happen to you, and this is what happens after you're pushed out of the forces. And it was very much, it really, really stuck with me. Like I thought people shouldn't have to, I know they're not begging, but they shouldn't have to beg for help of charities and stuff.
No.
It should be, yeah, you've done your bit. And it's usually guys from deprived areas, like guys from the valleys, guys from mid-Scotland, Belfast, Yorkshire, wherever, that join up because, right, this is a way out, the way it was for me. And he very much had to rely on that, and was just kind of told, right, time's up, hand in your ID card, and out you go. And it was his story. It really, really moved me. And it just kept buzzing around my head, and that song came out. And then, as I say, this band is the sum of its parts. I might write a song, but when we get together, that's when the magic really comes out, you know?
Yeah. I think it's a disgrace the way they treat the ex-service people, to be honest.
Yeah. It's like all the boys and girls that are on the streets. And people don't understand it. Oh, well, they should be able to do this. Well,
I had a good friend. I mean, when I was younger, he wouldn't join the army, and because I live in Holland now, and I saw him a few years ago. I came back to South Wales for a week or something. And I actually bumped into him, and he'd just come out of the army then, and he'd been in the army for 18 years. And he came out of the army with not even as much as a fucking thank you. It was, right, see you later, and off you go, like, you know. He had nowhere to live, he had nothing.
This lad in the song, and the second verse is, for 18 years I was your servant. Did all you asked of me, but when I broke, you cast me out. Yeah, you know what I mean? It was his story. He'd done 18 years, he hadn't even got his pension. And they're like, right, see ya. But yeah, it's tough, you know.
Yeah, it's a disgrace, man, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and I think most countries are the same. I mean, look at the state of the American forces when they leave. You know, they're all living on the streets as well, and they're all broken guys or girls. And
yeah, it was before I was born, just a year before I was born. But the guys coming back from Vietnam were spat on, or called baby killers, and I don't know, most of them were just conscripts. And treated very, very badly. And yeah, I've got a lot. I served alongside the U.S. Marines in Afghanistan, and girls, they were fantastic. And I sort of keep in touch with them on Facebook and stuff, and they're talking about veterans' rights and veterans' care, and the way it's all been kind of sort of washed away. And I don't know the word, but basically, it was a thing at one time, but they've kind of just denigrated it for so many years, that it's not adequate anymore, you know. No,
it's like your fucking pension. You know, you're not gonna have a pension when you're 70, and it's like 65. Well, but by the time you get to 65, it's going to be 70, and then by the time you're 70, it's going to be 70 fucking 5.
Yeah.
You know, work till you die. What have you got to show for your life?
Yeah.
You know.
Totally get it. Yeah, totally get it.
Sorry.
Right. Your rant
no, that's nowhere near. That's just John starting me off.
Yeah. I'm very depressing. Don't hang around with me.
If we go back to your band for a second, and where did you get the name from then?
Yeah, so growing up in Northern Ireland, there was a big tobacco firm called Gallaher's, not Gallagher's, Gallaher's. And two of their best-selling products were Gallaher's Deluxe Green and Gallaher's Deluxe Blue. And I remember as a kid hearing old guys in the shops going, give us 10 Gallaher's Green or 20 Gallaher's Green. And it always stuck in my head. When we were trying to think of a band name, everything's gone. All the band names are gone, unless you come out with something totally outrageous. All the .coms are gone. And I Googled it, and I said to Ian, because our bass player's called Ian Gallaher.
Yeah.
And I said, what about this name for a band? He went, awesome, yeah, because they'll think it's about me.
Yeah. He's like that.
Yeah, we did an interview, me and him this morning, at 10 o'clock this morning, and the guy went, oh, is this band named after you, Ian? I quickly jumped in, and no, it's not.
No,
it's actually named after Smokes. Yeah. And you know what Smokes do for you?
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, don't smoke, kids. Yeah, only a rock and roll band could get away with naming their band after packet of smokes.
Yeah, look, you didn't call yourself Benson and Hedges.
Yeah, well, that's no
They bought
Gallagher's
them out,
dogs. Yeah, they're owned by Benson and Hedges, yeah.
Oh, well,
And that's Noel Gallagher's dogs, Benson and Hedges. So
oh, is it?
Yeah, a little trivia for you. Yeah.
All right, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, my head's been full of it today because social media just does my fucking head in, to be honest.
I hate it.
And
Me too.
you know, it's like you can't live with it, but you can't live without it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very, very fortunate because Tom does most of the social media, and I just stay away from it because I post. I ruin it. I'm a proper granddad. So.
I know what you're going to say. And I did it today. I fell right into the trap. We had some post on something this morning, and someone commented on it. And somehow it had switched to my personal thing without me realising. So then I answered this guy's question in as the band, thinking I was answering as the band. And then later on in the day, I looked and my notifications, somebody liked your comment or replied to your comment. And I looked at it, and it was me that had replied saying, yeah, because we're going to be the next whatever I said. I can't even remember that. I thought, shit, why have I said that as me?
Yeah. Well, Ian always takes the piss out of me because when Gallaher's Green posts something, I go, all right, I'll like that. And I'll share it, but I'll like it as Gallaher's Green. He's like, stop liking the posts.
Right.
Yeah, I'm shit.
But did you see my post then?
I didn't know. No.
No. I was trying to find you earlier on. I was trying to find the messages that we'd been sharing earlier on. I couldn't find it anywhere because I said to John, I think we've got this tonight. I said, I'll just look through all my messages, and I was thinking, I'm sure it's just Chopsing. And then you emailed not long after.
Yeah,
so I thought, fuck for that.
Yeah,
They always haven't watched another podcast, Dave.
It was my wife actually had said, "Oh, you got an interview?" I went, "Have I?" And we had one earlier, some Manchester guy, but he had to cancel. So it's like, right, okay, I've got an interview, but it's my wife that follows all the socials and go, right, got an interview, go upstairs and.
Okay.
We need a secretary.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So what do you think my rant is going to be about then, Tom?
I don't. Oh no, I thought you were going to say something along the lines of what I just said. You know, where your profile and your personal page start crossing over and making you do stuff that you'll.
No.
He does that all the time. He's nice to people in his personal profile.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
And then in the Just Chopsing profile, he gives everybody loads of shit. So when I go to gigs in this country, they all think it's me.
Awesome.
No, it just fucked me off today because did you see that dick pic?
Oh yeah,
if you like,
yeah.
from,
I did see your post. Yeah, Tommy Lee. Yeah,
Tommy Lee.
I said to them, look, go and have a look at Tommy Lee's profile.
How the hell did that stay up for an hour? I looked at it.
It wasn't up for an hour. It's been up all day.
Is
Oh, is it
it
still
still
up?
up now?
It's still up. Well, I've got nothing.
I tell you what, if he can keep it up all day, I want to know his secret.
Yeah,
He's
so
nearly 60. Who wants to see that?
But my point is, I don't give a shit what he posts, to be honest, right? I don't give a shit what anyone posts, and that's a fact, right? But the point is, he can stick a dick pic up on fucking Facebook, it'll be there all day, and all these women are going crazy about it, right? They're all taking fucking screenshots, and whoa, good old Tommy and all this. Tommy's got a nudie on and all this fucking nonsense. But then Joe Bloggs around the corner, who's the fucking taxi driver, puts a naked photo up, and he's a fucking nonce, and they get the police on him.
Well, that's it. I asked if I could do the same thing when we saw Tommy Lee's earlier on, but I got told no.
We'll just get a semi on and fucking wrap a bit of cotton around it.
Yeah, it was a bit cold here today, and I didn't want to do it.
But that's my grievance with social media, is people can be judgmental in a flick of a finger, and it's like it just annoys me so much. It's just hypocritical, and hypocriticism is fucking finest, if you like.
Yeah. It's happening to everyone. All this cancel culture, and I think now, political, like comedians like Bill Burr from the States and Ricky Gervais in the UK, they're attacking it in a different way. They're coming at it in a positive way, like, okay, see what you're saying, but and I think there's been a bit of a turnaround, a bit of a backlash. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If you're just Joe Blogs in the street, like a working class guy, that's it, you're cancelled.
Yeah, you know, I couldn't get away with whacking dick pic up because they'd be fucking shooting me down in flames.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
then, you know, I saw a rock star, another rock star, put a post up saying, "Oh, good old Tommy Lee. At least there's some rock and rollers left in the world." That's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is 47 Karens down the road are going to tell Tommy the taxi driver that he can't fucking put a dick pic up when the other guy can.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that's my issue with it all.
Yeah.
It's just
Tom, I think that's our next album cover out the window.
You can do whatever you want, mate. You know. But it's just like fucking hell. It just winds me up, man. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
That's what I said. This is so difficult. You know. It's a difficult thing to live with, and you need it sometimes to promote your shit. And I mean, that's all it's good for, to be honest, because I can't stand it. I can't stand Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of this cancel culture, and you got to be careful what you say, aren't you? But you know, like it's like the Rolling Stones have stopped playing Brown Sugar. And I think to myself, why? Why have they been forced to stop playing these songs? You know?
Yeah. Why? Exactly why?
It's something they've been playing for 50 years, or knocking on 50 years.
Yeah.
Why? Why suddenly now is it not acceptable? You know, there's no offence intended by that song. You know, they're singing about a subject, not targeting people.
Yeah.
So why all of a sudden are they not allowed to do that? That's the part that grates on me.
Well, they're not allowed to sing about brown sugar, but Tommy's allowed to put his dick on Facebook. And I had the radio on when I was eating my dinner, and this song came on. It's an old song. I think it's from the 80s or the 90s, like a hip-hop type song. And I can't remember who sings it off the top of my head, but it's that, "Girl, I'm going to make you sweat. Sweat till you can't sweat no more." Yeah. And then he says, "Oh, when you're going to cry out, I'm going to push it, I'm going to push it, I'm going to push it some more." And it's like, well, why hasn't that been cancelled then?
Yeah.
You know?
It's like John Lydon, that interview I saw. It's an old John Lydon interview. He was talking about Savile back in the day, and he called him out. And we all knew it. We all, like, even though we were kids watching that sort of show, we all knew he was a wrong'un, and our parents definitely did. But when Lydon tried to call him out, he was banned by the BBC.
Yeah, he was ostracised,
demonized, and
But did he really know? That was the thing, you know? Was he just like, nah, because you know what he was like?
I don't know. It seemed pretty accurate.
Yeah, but in hindsight, it is pretty accurate. But was it, you know, was he just anti-establishment? Do you know what I mean? Because Jimmy Savile was quite a prominent figure then, wasn't he?
That's true. Yeah, he was always knocking about with.
Yeah. You know, he was always with the hierarchy, if you like.
Yeah, he had the phone number straight to Prince Charles and number 10 and all that, didn't he? You know.
Well, that's he was setting them all up for Andrew, I expect.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, and cancel culture, man. It's just like, where's it going to end?
Well,
we might find out when we release this. You never know.
Our first album, the most successful song off it, if you will, is Ballad of the One-Eyed Bastard.
Yeah.
I'll let John give you a description of what that's actually about. He wrote it, you see. Well, him and Ian. It's got quite a touchy subject, but then we topped it off with the cover of it. Go on, John, take it away.
Yeah, so basically this was before we'd recorded the first album. We were working away on the tracks, and the new tracks were starting to come out. And Ian had said to me one night, he says, "I've got this verse. It's been buzzing away in my head. We're plugging away at this verse, sponsored by Peroni." And I don't know, stupid o'clock in the morning, the chorus came out. And he's like, "What are you singing about?" I said, "I don't know, a serial killer, I think." And it just kind of, the natural thing that came out of it was a serial killer. And obviously Tom described the name was just a cool name that Ian had come up with. And Tom described this serial killer. I think he was in the States, wasn't he?
Emily Lucas. Well, he was confession killer. I think he confessed to about 200 murders, but only actually committed 2 of them.
Oh, right, okay.
Like a funny
and that once we start getting some leverage and getting somewhere, that'll probably come back and bite us in the ass. But songs are songs, you know what I mean? We're just writing about whatever comes out. You know what I mean? It's not okay, today we're going to write a song about a serial killer. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But there'll be people pissed off about that. There'll be people pissed off.
The thing is,
it's
not really like celebrating what he's doing, is it? It's
no,
like it's sang from like within the mind of a serial killer. If you listen to the lyrics, it's actually quite cleverly written. You know, it's like I can't even think of lyrics now. It's my favourite song, and I can't even think of lyrics.
I've listened to it. That's the Undertone Vibes one.
Yeah, as they God, my God, I can't. What line am I thinking, John? Where he's like, he's hating what he's doing, but he can't stop.
Look into the mirror, I can see what you see.
Yeah.
Basically, he's basically the second verse. He's sort of analysing. Oh shit, right, I'm a serial killer. And then the third verse is strapped down, last ride's alone in the end. I'll see you on the other side, my old friend. And then it lifts. It is just like right, okay, putting yourself in that persona of right, why would this guy do this? But that just came out naturally, that song.
Yeah.
It's our most popular single, but which maybe says something about what's going on. What's out there?
It's tipped 35,000 streams out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Yeah, well, that'll get cancelled eventually, I expect.
Absolutely.
You get 300 Karens listening to it at the same time, and it'll be fucked.
Yeah, somebody will be offended, and that's the thing. That first album we put out on our own, no PR, no management, no nothing. We just put it out, and people around the world now have found it. Like we look on Spotify, and our top places are like USA, Japan, Italy, South America, all these random places. And people are following us on Facebook because of it. And you got these guys from like Argentina, Sapporo in Japan, and they love the music. So that whole cancel culture, I don't know what's going on, whether that'll die out, whether it'll just go another big turn on the wheel. But our music, it appeals to a lot of people from totally different cultures and parts around the world that I don't know how anyone could be offended by that. We're not glorifying serial killers or anything like that. We're just
no, but you know what it is. It's just the way people interpret stuff, and
you
know,
that's it. It probably weren't the wisest thing to put the picture of him on it. That was probably the thing that we regret doing.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't have to regret it, should you?
Yeah.
I mean, art is art, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the good thing is we're not a pop band. We don't have to worry about being all polished and manufactured. Just a gritty. Manchester, roughly based.
Just chucked a dart map.
We are from
the lane between Northern Ireland and Manchester. Where do we go?
We are an Isle of Man based rock and roll band.
All right, cool. So what's your socials?
Tom's all over this.
We've got we're Gallaher's Green on Facebook. We're at Gallaher's G on Twitter, and we're at Gallaher's Green on Instagram. We hadn't yet delved into the world of TikTok, but we're being told that it's the thing to do now.
Nah, don't do it.
I don't know.
And
you are GallahersGreen.com.
Yeah, I've been on your website. It's a good website as well, actually. It's got everything on there, and because we've when we've interviewed bands in the past, we've gone on their website and it's very difficult to find any information. But you got like your photos on there of each band member and like a gallery and stuff like that, and some good merch.
Yeah, it makes a change, doesn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it's a really, really good site. I was going through, I actually wrote it down. Good website with a tick. I thought, yeah, it's a cracking website.
No, cheers, Dave. I tell you what, that is the one thing used to bug me about bands that I really like sort of younger bands up and coming that I was like, I really want to get into them. I wanted a central place where you can go to and you can find all their socials, you can find all their music videos, you can find merch if you want it, and a little bit about the band and photos. Like when I was younger, I loved stuff like that, and it's all in one place. But I think you're the only person who's ever gone there.
That's like our website. But,
Terry's the only one that goes on ours.
Oh. That's because I'm working on it all the time. I look at it sometimes. I go, "Oh, I had 47 hits this week." That is me, but I'm fucking trying to do 47 updates.
47 hits from Holland. We're massive in Holland.
Yeah. Who was the young lady you had singing on the first album with you?
Yeah, so that's a girl called Courtney Duncan. So when I was serving out in, where was I, Decalia in Cyprus, her dad was the head parachute instructor. He used to teach all the paratroopers. And she was always singing with the choirs and bands and all the rest of it. And basically, good friends with her mum and dad, we just said, look, do you want to come up and put these couple of songs really would suit like a female harmony? And we tried some other female singers, but she had such a pop kind of sweet voice. It just kind of melded in. It really suited it. So yeah, Courtney Duncan, she came up, she did an absolutely amazing job. There's going to be a song on a third album. We've already done a demo with her called Bloodshot Eyes, a piano song, and she's going to do that for us as well. Yeah, really phenomenal singer. She's one to watch. Actually, she's doing performing arts. I'm not, but she's on her way. Like yeah, you'll hear from her again.
Cool. So, have you got any tours coming up, or?
Just mainly gigs at the minute. As say, Saturday we've got the Pier Hat, Northern Quarter in Manchester. Then 2 weeks later we're up in, Tom, is it Snow Moon in?
No Moon in North Shields.
North Shields, yeah. And then we got a gig a couple of weeks later in Oldham. Basically, we're still at that stage where we are just we're doing it all ourselves and booking as many gigs around the country. Luckily, with Ian and I having been in the armed forces, we've got so many mates everywhere, and we've got mates in. If you play in Newquay, you've got somewhere to crash. If you're playing Newcastle, you've got somewhere to crash. And we've got mates all over the place. So
yeah,
we could have probably the cheapest UK tour ever, and just get round all these places because people are just crying out. We do have a bit of a following already. Obviously, COVID didn't help, kind of put us way back, but we got people turning up from all over the place. And we're not just doing sports slots, we do our own gigs as well. So yeah, we're really working hard on that.
Okay, cool.
You're going to try and get yourselves in some festivals next year if you've started applying for things like that?
That's the aim, yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan, yeah.
It's like with the plan with all the release of the singles now, like we've seen a clear, like some clear growth since the latest single. We've got a bit more of an idea. We've got Erin on board now. You know, she obviously doing the PR for us. That's we're seeing clear growth from that. So now with each single, if we can see a similar amount of growth each time, then we should have a good fan base for the time of the album launch, if you will. And then we should be in a good place to get accepted for these festivals. Like we've applied in the past, but I think the thing that's been holding us back is just not having that hardcore, that bigger fan base. We've got the hardcore, the people that have been following us since the release of the first album, but now it's about adding to that, growing that fan base, and then appealing to these festivals that so we can get on there. And I think by next summer we'll definitely be in that place.
Cool. Yeah.
That's good.
100%.
Well, make sure you send your stuff over to us as well, man, because we'll just whack it on the radio and
Oh, thank you.
We're always here to support bands. And
has Erin sent you some stuff?
not your new stuff, new stuff. No.
Oh, right. Yeah, we'll send you. We've got 3 mastered so far. We'll send you them over.
All right, cool. Yeah, and if you want me to play them, we will play them. So.
Oh, great. Thank you.
That's no problem.
Thank you.
But yeah. All right. Well, it's great to meet you guys anyway.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, you too.
It was like a bit of therapy there, wasn't it? With a
Yeah, we get into a bit of that sometimes. I mean, we had Peter Canna from D-Ream.
Yeah, from Derry, yeah.
Yeah, we had the D-Ream boys on, and he was like, oh, this is great. We should come on here every week and have a rant, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he got seen off in the 90s, didn't he? With the music.
Yeah. And the Cockney Rejects, they wanted to come on every week, didn't they?
Oh, they were funny as well,
They
yeah.
were funny guys. And they were like, oh, this is great. This is proper therapy. We're coming on here every week.
Yeah,
They were doing all around, didn't they, weren't they?
They were ranting.
Well, that's the thing. The thing that we usually rant about is the standard of what is supposedly rock music in the UK today. And we've had so many radio stations and management, and everybody turned their nose up, and we went, "Oh, we're not into that." And it seems to be these little, pretty young guys with Stratocasters up around their necks, with no gain or no overdrive, and we're like, "Yeah, that's okay. You're doing your thing, but there's more than just that." And it seems to be that everybody's just, no, this is what's being force fed. We're not interested in that. But we think it's going to turn around. The big wheel will keep turning, and we'll get our day in the sun. But yeah, festivals next year. We hope that'll be our launch pad.
Well, it goes in cycles, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there's some great, and that's, when you get onto a festival, then that's when your music does get heard a lot as well by other people, because a lot of the festivals I go to, so I go to like Steelhouse, Planet Rockstock, and Winter's End, and a few others. They've got quite a diverse range of music. Predominantly it's rock, but you get some prog rock, you get a bit of more punk, a bit heavier stuff as well, and it's surprising some of the bands you come across. And I said there's a band, there's normally at least one or two bands within a weekend that's been on stage I've never heard of, and I start following. Do you know what I mean? So it's
that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
and that's how the bands are making their money. That they're living, I should say. They're going out, they're having to go out, and in a way, in the old days, selling records and that whole sort of rock and roll thing. But bands now, if they're into it and they're dedicated to it, they have to go out and tour. They have to go out and they have to sell tickets. They have to sell merchandise. They have to meet and greet. And it shouldn't be oh God, I've got to do this. You should want to meet people. If people are spending we're all working class. People are out there working all week, and they want a bit of, right, I want to go to this gig and I just want to get pissed and have a laugh and lose myself. And I'll buy a t-shirt and a CD. You should go up and you should be shaking their hand and going, thank you for supporting us.
Of course you should, yeah.
And it's always gone back to that punk rock ethic of we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Creating a scene. And I think that's the positive. I'm the eternal optimist, but I think that's the positive of the way it's all gone. We're not going to sell millions and millions of vinyl LPs. We're going to get out there and we're going to play
Nobody's ever
grotty
going to do
little...
that.
No, we're going to get out there and play grotty little dives and meet people and win them over.
Yeah.
And we're happy to do it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and to be honest, so you should be.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some great venues down here, mind, in Wales, if you want to come down here as well. Loads of great venues.
Whereabouts in Wales are you?
So I'm just, I'm in Cwmbran, which is just outside Newport. But there's probably, there's a shed load in Cardiff. There's some really good venues down in Swansea as well. There's a great pub called the Duke in Neath. And then local to me, we've got the Patriot, which will hold about 300 people, which is a great venue.
Yeah.
Smaller venue just slightly down the road called the Dragonfly, which is like gritty and, it holds about 100 people maybe. But it's got, good sound in there as well. So it's, some really, really good little venues around here. And thankfully, they've managed to keep going through, the COVID, and, they've come out the other side, which is really good, because I've seen on social media, there's a lot of venues that have closed, and then, there's lots of festivals that are had to cancel and things like that as well, which, it's a real shame.
Yeah, a lot of those people, those guys that work in the boys and girls that work in all the bars, and even the road crew and all those type of people, that they all lost out because, maybe everybody it wasn't a regular thing where they were paying their national insurance and tax and stuff. That was their livelihood. They were out on the road, and it's just sapped. It's destroyed a lot of it. But what we've seen to be positive though, in the last year we've been out playing, people are just crying out for live music. They missed it. They're hungry for it. That first gig we played was the day before they lifted the lockdown restrictions, and it was a seated, I think we played to 50 people, Tom, was it?
Yeah, its usual limit were 100, and I think they let us do 50, didn't they? And they were touch and go, saying, we think 35 will have to be limit. But then last day they said, we'll let you do 50. And it were brilliant, weren't it?
You'd
Absolutely.
have thought we were playing to 1,000 people. They were going nuts.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They were just happy to see live music and just have a bit of crack and, you know, back and forth with the band. And it was just incredible. That was our first gig back into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel for all those venues. Some great venues gone, just lost, you know.
Yeah. Well, that place actually went since.
Yeah. That wasn't our fault, though.
Yeah, you needed to bring that 100 in, man.
we just depressed them with our ballads.
Yeah, you know, but you say people are crying out for live music, but, you know, they've just cancelled Rock in the Bowl, so...
Really? All right.
Yeah, it's been cancelled. Because they couldn't sell enough tickets.
Right.
I find that hard to believe. That's crazy because, like I said, I just come back from Steelhouse, which is in Ebbw Vale of all places, just up the road from me in the valleys. I was absolutely rammed again this year. Every year it's rammed. It's and I was saying to Terry about it because we go glamping because we have like wooden toilet seats and stuff. So, and like a teepee that when it's because you can never guarantee the weather. We have all 4 seasons in one weekend up here because it's up the mountains. And, there was almost as many glamping pods this year as there were normal campers and drive-in vehicles and stuff like that. Living vehicles. It's incredible, really, really incredible. How many people are glamping because they, you know, like you said, they just want to go out and see live music. People haven't been going abroad, so they've been saving their pennies maybe. And just going to lots and lots of festivals. So I don't know what happened with that Rock in the Bowl. It's a real shame because
I mean, Stone Dead seems to be surviving at the moment, but was it Spax Festival or something? That was last weekend. Was it called Spax or Sav or something? Something like that anyway. That went off. But yeah, that Rock in the Bowl's just fallen flat. I mean, it's a 3-day event, and it's such a shame, man.
It's not good, is it?
But also, I know a lot of people are complaining because it's the same bands on the circuit. You know, it's the same bands over and over and over and over again. I mean, these bands do have to make a living, like you said, but it's a little bit of overkill sometimes.
Yeah.
Usually there's a split between late 90s, mid-late 90s when the music industry totally changed overnight. And you had the guys that were on one side of the wall, like your Foo Fighters, Guns N' Roses, all those guys, and then everybody else. And those guys on one side of the wall were safe. They could always play stadiums and do all that stuff. But nobody else is going to have that slow build because it's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll change. And that's not those bands' faults, but I've seen Guns N' Roses twice on this new tour. I've seen Foo Fighters. Obviously, I was meant to see them twice. Unfortunately, Taylor Hawkins died. And I've seen the Stones. Brilliant, tick in the box. But where are these new bands coming up? We should be seeing that. Right, there they are. Saw them in a club. Like I saw Oasis when definitely maybe went to #1 in Belfast in a tiny little club. It should be, right, next time you see them, they'll be at a theatre, and then next time it'll be a stadium. And it should be that, but that seems to be missing, and I'm hoping that changes and it comes back around again. I don't know what's going to be the thing that's going to change it, but hopefully that does change. You know what I mean?
Well, you've got a couple of bands coming through that are on that train, if you like. You know, you've got like Those Damn Crows, they've come up the hard way. You know, they've worked their socks off, to be honest. And now they're finally at a position where they're like playing the Castle this weekend. You know, they played
Cardiff Castle. Tonight.
Yeah, they're playing tonight.
Chepstow Castle is tonight, and then I'm going to watch them tomorrow at, I can't remember the name of the place, in Tenby.
Yeah. And then, you know, they played Cardiff Castle, didn't they?
Pulled that out, yeah.
So they're pretty much on that verge now of the next step is going to be a big festival, and then the next step will be stadiums. But it's a long process, to be honest.
But like I said earlier, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe people that are only in it now for the right reasons, like us. We're not obviously doing it for fame or anything else. We're doing it because we love it. We get in a room, and the 4 of us, like I fly over from Belfast, Ian drives up, he's based down south. So we've both got a couple of 100 miles to travel, and we get together and we get up at stupid o'clock in the morning, go to an airport to go and rehearse 4 hours and then play a gig. I love it, because as soon as we're in that room, it's like, right, let's do this. And that's it. You're playing your own songs. We're doing our own thing. We're bouncing off each other and we're going out. It's like a little army. We're sticking together and doing it. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Song that's shit in the night.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a few of those coming, so brace yourself.
Yeah, well, like I said, if you're doing it for the right reasons, mate, it'll come back to you in spades, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You know. So, all right then, guys. We'll leave it there. And make sure you send me them songs then, because
We'll do. We've got your email address now, haven't we?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll get them. Is there a preferred thing? MP3, WAV?
yeah, just send them both over if you like.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
No
problem.
problem.
Great.
All right.
Fast better.
And I'll let you know when it's coming out, so
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
you could share it.
So we know when to be cancelled.
Yeah. All right, you can stay on a minute if you want, and we'll just have a bit of a chat.
Yeah, cool.
All right, and say goodbye, Dave.
Goodbye, Dave.
Catch you later, guys.
See you
Bye,
later.
guys.
Cheers.
Another waste of my time today. Had enough of the things you say it's gonna be, the way it's gonna be. For as long as you're here with me, another chance to walk away. I'll go alone, come what may. It's gonna be the way it's gonna be. For as long as you're here with me, I know the games you like to play. I know the things you like to say. I know that life can take its toll, but living like this is bad for my soul. You don't know what to say. Don't know that it's time to pray. It's gonna be the way it's gonna be. For as long as you're here with me, I know the games you like to play. I know the things you like to say. I know that life can take its toll, but living like this is bad for my soul.